You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast. Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Pointing Pointers. Sam, it's good to be back. It's good to see you again. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thanks, Sam. And we're joined by none other than the man of the moment, Charlie Marshall. Charlie, how are you?
Very good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good stuff. Fresh back from America. More on that in a very short moment or two. But we're just going to quickly recap on what's been happening, Sam, since the last episode, which frankly isn't a great deal. We are falling victim to the rain, which will just not stop at the moment, it's fair to say.
Yeah, it's been tragic, really, but it keeps coming, doesn't it? But hopefully we're going to get a dry couple of weeks now and we can get some proper racing in. We obviously had a couple of meetings over the weekend that went ahead, kind of rewarding for Tim and Ed Vaughan, really. They dominated the Welsh meeting over there down at East Rodoin, having 5 winners there. So, yeah, it was great for them. One was a walkover, but it was great. And there was an interesting horse, wasn't there, that going to be aimed for the entry bumper, Ben?
Yes, correct. One for the tracker, Sam, as they say in the trade. me and Sam share a tracker, Charlie, you see. The less said about that, the better.
Around our ankles or what?
What? Oh, you mean, right, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. The horse called Bells of Ufford, which Nick Luck pointed out to me is by what did he say? I don't know.
By Galileo out of the Mare Dance and Rain.
Yeah, I realised that, but one won something and one won the other, but I can't. My knowledge.
One won the Derby and one won the Oaks.
Correct. Thanks, Sam. Thanks for coming. Worries, You've been fantastic. Incredibly well bred horse. Won the flat race there, and it's going trying its hand under rules in a couple of weeks' time. So keep an eye out for that. And speaking of father-son, father-daughter combinations, Amy Coulthard's had couple of winners for Stuart Coulthard up at Overton, Sam.
Yeah, no, it's great to Stuart being able to support his daughter. We had a winner on a gamble apparently, Batman Forever, before winning late on the card by an old favourite, an old stalwart Oscar Wilde. So it's nice that she's kicking in some winners, and it's nice that Stuart's be able to support her. Alongside kind of looking back at the Dunraven Bowl as well. David Pike being able to support a young lad in the yard, Donald Kavanagh, who's having his 3rd ride, I believe. First ride on the rules.
Unbelievable that.
Yeah, brilliant. I think he's from what I know, he's been there a couple of seasons now, and it's just great that these young lads can be rewarded. I know he's trained by David Pike, but it's really important that the lads in the yard and we keep bringing these young lads through. So Mikel Barcelona-esque celebration, I thought, was fantastic.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it?
We just worried he wasn't too out of breath and tired. He wasn't going to fall off the side, but no, he managed to stay on board.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just referenced several times there, Sam, these young lads. You sexist pig, which leads us nicely on to talking about Alice Stevens, who has got the job as second jockey of them with Harry Derham, which is great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, she's come through the station yard kind of graduation scheme. Been well tutored by Charlie and Fran there. She's obviously worked extremely hard to be where she is now. She rides, as well as anyone really at the minute, and she's been rewarded with a great job. Harry Durham's absolutely flying. He's going to have plenty of horses to go at next year, I'm sure. And it's a great job that she's got involved with. It looks like a real fun yard to be involved with as well. And she's obviously working hard, and she's getting a due reward.
Yeah, 100%. And so, Charlie, your sister is giving it a good go in the Female Riders Championship. She's 16-15 with Gina. Look, Gina's got a lot of firepower to go yet, but it's such a different story to the last 5 or 6 years. I suppose it's just piquing people's interest slightly.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, looking at this weekend, Gina has got a lot of rides at her disposal, a lot of good rides. Fair play to the Hills, a lot of them. She's had a few outside rides now, which obviously more and more people supporting her. But to have to be leading a championship and riding for a big yard like that is quite something. But still a good few weeks to go. Gina's not going to give in easy, is she? So
no, she's got better.
It'll go down to the last weekend, that's for sure. If it's the case, Gina's not going to give up.
Yeah. She must be real proud of like the way she's kind of riding good horses. Obviously, you know yourself, does bring you along, and she's obviously been supported massively by the Hills team, and their horses are flying this year. But the way she's improved over the last couple of seasons is quite tremendous, really. Like she, her experience on young horses to begin with, probably, she wasn't riding them to begin with, but now she's well capable to ride them, and she's doing really well.
Well, she learned on good horses, and I think that is a massive learning point for a lot of young jockeys, is that if you ride crap, you ride like crap. But she rode good horses. She started riding well, and Alan was very good as a mentor to her, in the fact that he didn't put her on young, inexperienced horses to start with. I mean, she was probably getting more frustrated because she felt like she could, but look, it's done her good in the end, and she's ridden some unraced horses and won on unraced horses. So she's massively come on, and she should be very proud for that.
Yeah, gone are the days of Conky's lad, huh? I remember him.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a legend there.
He didn't go on so well with that one, to be fair.
Charlie, let's talk a bit about you. So you've been over and broken America in a pretty short space of time, doing really well over there, and the pinnacle being, of course, winning the Maryland Hunt Cup on Blackhall.
Yeah, no, it was something I always wanted to do. It was on the bucket list to ride in it. To win it was different. I mean, I didn't expect to get round. I mean, last year only 2 finished. Wow. So to get round was quite a big thing. I never thought I was in a chance of winning it halfway round. And then I thought, well, I'll settle for second because I was quite a long way behind. But then everything played into my favour, and I was there on the line.
Amazing. And like you say,
trip's that over? What trip's that over?
So 4 miles, 22 fences and 4 miles.
Jesus. And what was the ground like?
I mean, they say that it was not, well, I mean, it was quick, it was firm, but they said it wouldn't be firm. But I would say it was hard for racing up here. I mean, I felt guilty racing on it, but it had rained. It was firm, and then it rained all morning, so it was just firm and slippery, which was
fantastic.
The
just
worst. Exactly. But to be fair, when I said to the trainer I was riding for, I said, look, it's rained now this morning. What he's ridden in it 12 times himself, and he's trained. That was his 7th winner that he's trained around that course. So he's a pretty specialist at it. I said, look, what happens now? The whole elements have changed. He went, this is perfect for you. You need a chaotic race. So engines in there, but mine is a very safe jumper. So he said that it's brilliant. And to be fair, I cannot think of a fence that my horse even missed or stuttered or anything. So it was just perfect.
Wow.
And how did you go about getting over there? As in, like, if people wanted to do it, is it quite easy to get yourself over there, or?
Well, years ago, a few years ago, the AJA, Amateur Jockeys Association, put out a post. Sarah Oliver did it, and it was actually Joe Davis, the guy I rode for, asking for an English/Irish amateur because they didn't have very many people coming through the ranks at the time. And I applied, and I think someone else went, and then I was speaking to him about going in the COVID year, and then that didn't happen. And then I just thought, well, maybe it's not meant to be. And then last year, Hannah and I trained a horse that won a maiden, and he bought him privately in America, as in over the phone. He went over there, and when Hannah finished the deal and he had landed and he was pleased with him, he said, she said to him, look, Charlie, who rode the horse, has always wanted to come and ride in America. So if you ever had any opportunities, then please do get in contact with him. So she gave him my number again, and that sort of prompted him. And I just thought nothing of it. That was 13 months ago. And then in January this year, he sent me a WhatsApp out of the blue saying, I've got a ride for you in the Hunt Cup. I'll know more closer to the time, so let's be in touch. And we went from there, really.
Amazing.
Well, and you're back out there again soon, are you?
So he's asked me to go for the next weekend for the 11th which is their final meeting of the timber season. They obviously have racing all year round, well, as in through the summer as well, but in that program, and so it's their last meeting of the season, and they have apprentice races, which obviously I class as having had less winners, obviously in American racing, so I get to go on all those races. So his son Teddy, who's his first jockey, can't ride those horses, so he's asking me to go out and do that.
Well,
Perfect.
Congratulations. Incredible feat, really. And you've got to have some minerals to take on 4 miles on hard ground over timber. So fair play to you. But Charlie, look, tell us a bit about yourself, what you're on with at the moment. You are making flexi chase fences and running your own yard, right?
Yeah, so Hannah and I, we have about 15 pointers and young horses, pre-trainers and breakers as well. And so that's what we do together in the mornings. And then in the afternoons, I have started building my own fences, which is going well. So yeah, just a mix. It's quite nice, obviously, horses and yard work in the mornings, and then a bit of manual labour in the afternoons.
Fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like a good way to balance things out. And yeah, they both things seem to be going pretty well. So all power to you.
No, it's good. And Hannah and I, we're very lucky. We get on working well together. So I think she's probably glad at lunchtime when I go off and start building my fences. She gets a bit of peace and quiet for a few hours. So I'm not chewing her ear off in the yard.
Fantastic. What's next for the rest of the season? Are you planning to have many more rides in point to points in the UK?
So I've got 7 or 8 rides this weekend over the bank holiday weekend. We've only got 5 left in our yard at the moment, so I've got a few other outside rides that I normally ride. But I mean, if I pick up a few, I'm not going out of my way. I'd much rather finish in one piece, so I won't go out of my way to ride anything. But obviously, I always say yes to rides because I'm always one of those people that I'll help anyone out as long as it's safe. Obviously, I'll help anyone out because I want them to help me out one day. So,
good man, you've worked that one out.
Yeah.
Well, listen, best of luck out in America again next week, and thanks a lot for coming on Pointing Pointers.
No, thank you for having me. Cheers.
Lovely. So from Charlie Marshall to the other half, the worst half of Izzy Marshall, Joe Hill. Joe, thanks a lot for joining us, buddy.
Very kind of you. Thank you for having me. So I know Sam's especially excited for me to be here.
Yeah, he's been trying to get you on for so long. He keeps saying, when are we having Joe? When are we having Joe? I can't wait to have him on.
I'm just worried my battery's about to run out.
Oh, yeah.
Got about 3 hours, Joe, so make it quick. All right, bud.
Oh, no, we'll have to get another meeting rolling after it, mate.
No, don't worry about it. We'll make sure you don't miss out, Sam. So we are going to now cover the Cheltenham Hunter Chase evening, race by race, and in some depth. So before we do that, chaps, we're going to listen to voice notes from the following people. Here is the world's tallest man, Alan Hill.
Hello, Ben. In reply to your message, I have one runner on Friday night at Cheltenham, Cooler Park in the intermediate final. I feel it's a very competitive race, which is very pleasing for the sport of point-to-pointing to bring these horses through. I think Askander Picos, who we took on earlier in the season, will probably be near on market leader. Late Night Rumble, who is trying to do as well as the rest of its family members and make a third winner for the family in this race. We have Paper Mill, who has shown itself to be very, very useful. Wolf Walker and Regatta, whether Regatta goes for a different race. So we will have to run to the best of our level, and hopefully we can do that and finish in the first 4, we'll be over the moon. As regards to selection for the evening, I think in the last race, Go On Chez, the Greeno Guerriero horse, was very impressive the other day at Ludlow. And if anyone wants to back against them at the moment, I feel they will be brave, because they are certainly on fire and the horses are in rude health. But with the weather conditions that we've had, with plenty of rain, it looks like we get nice ground and very competitive racing for yet again another good evening's racing at Cheltenham. Looking forward to it.
And now followed by the world's shortest man, Chris Barber.
Hi Ben, Wolf Walker is the only runner at Cheltenham for us. Very, very, very nice horse. Very excited about his future. Big step up from what he's done at Larkhill this year, and only being a 5-year-old. But I think he's entitled to have a go, and the owners are very keen to go to Cheltenham. So we sort of see it's a win-win situation, because if he wins that, then maybe we'll have some fairly lofty targets next year, and if he gets beaten it, we'll probably aim to go back there again in the same race next year. So that's Wolf Walker, and obviously Famous Clermont is going over to Punchestown. He seems in really good order. He seems to have really come into himself the last couple of weeks with the sunshine, and hopefully we'll have a bit of nice ground. New experience for me. I'm like a fish out of water taking a horse over there. But look forward to the challenge, and hopefully he shows a good account of himself.
Next up, we have the inimitable penalty taker, Darren Andrews.
Hi Ben, I have 4 rides on Friday evening at Cheltenham. I'm very much looking forward to it. The first one is Manila Jab. He ran at Exeter, ran really well actually, only just got touched off a second, beaten ahead. So very much looking forward to him. I think he'll relish it really, conditions and everything going forward, the stiffness of the track, and hopefully he's bang there at the end, running on like he was at Exeter. Next up is my good favourite, Quinton's Man. He ran at Fleet the other day after having a bit of time in between the festival and Fleet. The track really didn't suit him, but we kind of knew that going into the race and just wanted to get a blow into him for Friday night, so looking forward to that. Then I have Harbour Queen in the mares. She was obviously the one that actually beat me by a head at Exeter the other evening, and she looks a very progressive type going forward, so fingers crossed she gives me a nice run round and we can try all our best to beat Regatta de Blanc. Then in the last race I have Game of War, which is new for Connections. He was bought not very long ago, and they've only had him sort of 3 or 4 weeks, so it's a little bit of an unknown with him. We don't really know him, but we're going to go and have a crack at it anyway. So yeah, hope to see you there. Cheers.
And next up, Sam, is Hugh Edwards. Not that one, the other one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. Got 3 nice rides. I think Scander Peacock starts it off. He's clearly got plenty of ability, and the track in 3 Mile 2 should suit him down to the ground, so be hoping for a good run. Jadot next, one from home. He's come out the Lady Dudley well. He seems in good form. There looks a few nice ones in it, but I think we're going with a nice one, so be hopeful for him as well. And then who's next? Captain Tommy. He's run 2 crackers at Ludlow this season and things, and he ran well at Aintree, had a good clear round and things, and Fred says he's in good order at home, so again looks a good race, but hopefully we'll be able to hold our own.
And last but not least, Gina Ellis / Andrews, not sure which one, but one of them.
Hi Ben, hi Sam. Here are my thoughts for Friday night at Cheltenham. I have 3 rides. First one being Padjo's Legacy in the intermediate final. Obviously looks a pretty hot race like it normally is, competitive, but he's won his last 2 races and he's in good form. He seems to jump well, stays well, probably the softer the ground the better. Probably got an each way chance, I suppose. Can't see him winning the race, probably isn't good enough, but hopefully I'll have a good spin round on him. Master Templar in the 4 miler. That's going to be his first go over regulation fences. He's looked as good as ever this season. He's been ultra consistent. I think he's won about 10 times for us now. So depending what mood he turns up in on Friday night will depend what sort of race he runs, I suppose. He's highly talented and he seems to be a really strong stayer. So 4 miles is definitely going to suit. It just depends what sort of mood he turns up in on the night. The cheap pieces have definitely made a difference the last few times he's run now. So, if he's in the right frame of mind, then I could see him, running a really big race. And Fairly Famous, again, a horse I've always thought a hell of a lot of. Things haven't really gone right this season for him. He got beat the first day and we didn't get qualified for Cheltenham, which was probably a blessing in the end because the ground turned out to be too soft for him. So he's on a bit of a comeback mission, really, I suppose. We had him entered in the Fox Hunters Aintree as well, and again the ground went against him, so he didn't run. But he's got course and distance form, so I'd be hopeful of a big run from him, with hopefully a festival in mind for him next season.
Okay, so we have heard from the direct participants, and we're now going to hear from one of the trainers. Joe, first of all, what are you running and what are you hoping may get the business done?
Well, as you just heard from Dad's voice message, we run Cooler Park in the intermediate final. It's a very hot race, obviously, as it always is. No, he's in great form. He's run very well all year. He's got form with Iskander de Pecos. He's got form with Regatta de Blanc. He's got good form all year through. He ran a blinder last time out. He only just got beat by Golden Fortune, who was a 137 rated handicap chaser. So that was a great run. Izzy takes a handy £5 off, which is a massive help. I think the trip will suit. Any rain that comes, I think, will help as well because he's not that quick and he just keeps rolling and rolling. And I think the regulation fences will be a help to him. But no, he's in really good form. It sounds like a silly thing to say because he's run 5 times this year, but he's bouncing at home. I ride him every day. He is horrible. And he's absolutely bouncing at the minute. He's in great form, and we're really, really looking forward to running him. And it's for his owners, Rich and Julie Cranfield, to go and have a runner at Cheltenham. It's a massive thing, and you kind of take it for granted. We're lucky most years we have a horse to run at the evening meeting, and for owners like Rich and Julie, who are great supporters of ours, they're so looking forward to it, so delighted to be there. So it's great for them there. As I've said already, they're massive supporters of ours. So fantastic to repay them with a runner there, and hopefully he can nick a bit of prize money. And I think he'd finish in the 4. I'd be not confident, but I'd be hopeful. Yeah.
And you've hit the nail on the head really with this whole meeting. It's got a really nice kind of cup final vibe to it, hasn't it? It's usually a nice evening. Touch wood, it doesn't rain. It will now. I've said that. And it's basically a point-to-point feel, but at Cheltenham, which is for any fans of jump racing, sort of mecca, isn't it? So it's always a great opportunity to take horses for to do it on the biggest of stages, so to speak. So
it literally is our festival. We get one night there, and it's fantastic, and we're very lucky to be able to have it. And it's a great evening, and one that's always thoroughly enjoyed. Even if you've not had a great day, all your mates are there, and it's good fun anyway.
100%. So let's go race by race, Sam, starting with the 4:35, which is, to give it its full title, the Congratulations Keith and Michelle Smith Opens Hunter Chase. I wonder what we're congratulating them for. Does anyone know? No. I was hoping.
Let's not jump to any conclusions here.
No, correct.
You never know.
It's 2.5 miles, a class 5 for 5-year-olds and over. So
2 miles and half a furlong, mate. But yeah, near enough.
Correct. So who wants to start?
I'll get a few words in first before Joe jumps in. But no, I think it's probably going to be between the two that probably fought out the finish last year, to be honest. Obviously, Carito de Bros has been running well again this year, as well as Fair Jaguar. Fair Jaguar got beat by another inmate of David Kemp's the last day. Carito was second in this last year. He was beat by Fair Jaguar, but he was giving him £3. This year, the tables are turned, and he's actually getting £3 off Fair Jaguar because Bradley's unable to claim this year. So It's be close between them two. There obviously are other horses in there. I think Miss T could be one that could be improving if the ground's good. She's a very strong traveller. She hasn't really been seeing the trip out over 2.5 around Ludlow and places like that. But she's a strong traveller. She can get her jumping together and settle onto the front end. It'd be interesting to see how she comes up the hill. But I think it'll probably be between the top two, Fear Jaguar or Carito de Bros. Joe, am I on the right lines?
Yeah, no, 100%. Interesting to say with Miss T, like she gets on the front end, but there's a lot of pace in here. Fier Jaguin goes a hell of a gallop, and he obviously jumps very right-handed, which is less than ideal, but Bradley was fantastic on him last year, getting him back over the whole time. Carito, he doesn't always have to make it, but he's not going to be sat too far off the pace. And then also a Jet of Our Own, he made all the other day to win a level 2 conditions round Tracy Corbett, and he's very impressive. He'd probably be my each way bet and say a Jet of Our Own. Like if he was sort of like 10-1 and there's over 8 runners, I think I'd back him to finish third in this. But yeah, he's spot on. Carito, Fier Jaguin, it'll be very difficult to split them. Both horses seem very versatile ground-wise, but I think it's probably fair to say both horses haven't probably been quite at their best this year. Last year, I thought they both came here off of fantastic seasons and they were really riding high, whereas it's probably fair to say neither of them have quite met those sort of same lofty heights on a course this year. But they're two fantastic horses, sort of horses you'd love to have in the yard, and I think they'll be there, out of the back of the last, and be it'll be literally down to whoever, I think, out of the back of the last, whoever wants it more, because they're very, very closely matched on all known form.
Joe, I'm hearing everything you're saying, and I'm hearing TriCast.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that's a little bit over my head. £10 each way is sort of as far as my betting goes, but I can't all be big rollers like Sam is, but yeah.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
All right, moving on.
I have absolutely nothing to add.
And Luca Morgan has got some other runners at this meeting. So if you see Al Morgan again, that is not Laura. Okay.
Do you want to know the best bit? I texted Laura yesterday asking for the opinion on her runners. I wonder why she blue ticked me. I wonder why she blue ticked me. I thought that isn't like Laura. Look, the veins come up on my head. Look at the veins.
Yeah, we can just leave this in anyway. Moving on. We're moving on. That's Luca Morgan.
I did too much swearing.
That's great.
That's all right. You had Biddock on here. That was all right with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So moving on to the intermediate final then. We've already spoke to Joe about your runner. What horses do you fear in there? There's plenty of them, I'd imagine.
We're very closely matched with Iskander Pecos from earlier on in the year, but I mean, him being he was one day off turning 6 when we ran against him on the New Year's Eve. He's probably fair to say he's improved since then, taking his form to another level. With fantastic runs under rules. Hugh was very good at him last time out, to be fair. He never really travelled a yard. He was flat out round Ludlow, but back to this sort of track will suit him very well. And I remember in the old days, there used to be a penalty system in this race, and that's changed, and that's something that actually caught me out. I didn't realise that had changed. So I mean, he's £6 well off here, with the fact that, if it was a normal Hunter Chase, he'd be having a £6 to £8 penalty. So he's automatically well up here at the weights. So he's got the highest handicap mark, and any ground is only going to help him as any rain is only going to help him with ground, because he seems like he goes in wet ground. But yeah, I think it's a very competitive race. I respect Paper Mill a lot. I've been very impressed with him. My only worry would be that he hasn't run since, I think it was the start of Feb. Yeah, he hasn't run for a while. That'd be my only worry. But Michael Keir's having a fantastic season. He set up Stuart Edmonds' yard, and Stuart's been having a fantastic season under rules, and Michael has as well with his pointers. But yeah, it's a really competitive race. Gina said earlier, Padjo's Legacy, he's been an ultra consistent horse the last couple of times, and another Furlow is another horse that is a really, really good pointer. My only worry with him would maybe be the bigger fences. He's been winning around to the pointing tracks, and I remember last year winning at Larkhill, one day he didn't jump as well as he could, and he got beat that day. But yeah, it's a rock solid race. Wolf Walker down the bottom as well. I think he's a really proper horse. You had Chris on earlier on in the year. Well, no, you had Ed Bailey on earlier on in the year, and he said him and Chris had bought 3 horses out of one Irish Maiden. He was one of them. The other two also won first time out. This lad's progressed and he's looked better and better every time. He looked awesome the other day. I don't think rain will help him, is my only thing. And I'd be worried about the 3 mile too. But I think he's a very good horse, and I'd say in a year's time he could well be the best of these. But whether 3 mile 2 and if we do get rain being soft ground would suit him, I'm not entirely sure. But it's an ultra competitive race in my opinion. Sam probably knows his pointing form as well as anyone, and he's probably got a nugget of a bit of each way value or something like that.
No chance, mate. I was just really impressed how Wolf Walker dismissed Red Nika, who then ran well in the Dunraven Bowl at Larkhill. I haven't actually seen the horse in the flesh, but from what I've seen on videos, he does look the real package. But as you say, 5-year-old might just be a year too soon for him to 3 mile 2 round here against these types of horses. Some experienced horses there with some good form in the book.
He's sort of as well, like he's a bit of a Chris Barber special. He's a bit like a famous Claremont. He's shown a bit of form. He's gone off the boil a little bit. His first run was good, and his next few runs didn't quite back that up. He's got him over. He's got a hood on, and it doesn't look like he's the most straightforward ride in the world. And Chris does a great job with these. And I know Jamie Thomas rides him every day, and he rides famous Claremont every day as well. And I think Chris does very well with these types of horses.
To be fair, if I was by Jamie Thomas every day, I'd want to wear a hood, mate. It's a good race. Now, it's probably one I'm just going to watch and enjoy. To be honest, it's there might only be 9 runners, but it's bloody competitive.
You'd be better trying to pull straws to win than to work out who's going to take the number 1 spot in this one. I noticed Wolf Walker's got a young jockey, Mr. William Biddick, on him as well, so that'll no doubt not hinder his chance. Let's move on to the 5:45. We didn't give the last one its full title, Sam, which is disappointing, but this one is the Junior Jumpers Open Hunter Chase, Class 4, 6-year-old plus, over 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs. And we don't know who's at the top of the betting at this stage because we do not have any betting. But again, it looks pretty competitive. Who wants to start?
Joe, can you just explain to me the kind of conditions of this one? Do you know this off the top of your head?
Well, it's the old United. This is the old United Hunter Chase, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean, this is. I probably let you down massively here, Sam. I don't know every single hunt off the top of my head.
I knew I'd catch you out on something.
I probably should do though, because Izzy wrote the Hunter Chase planner this year, so I probably should have sat down and studied it a bit better. But no, I mean it's a lot of the local hunts. We actually don't get in it with Kimberwick, but I mean I know the Warwickshire are in it, hence why Jetaway Joey's in here with Barbara Hester, because I'm fairly sure she's a master with the Warwickshire and has been for a number of years. And so like if you realise, you look through people like Nicky Shepherd, Tom Britton, who's based at Alistair Alfs, I'm fairly sure, Miles Osborne, they're all very local trainers. So it's a
like a confined
market confined. And at that, Izzy has just handed me her planner with the hunt, so I can go through them if need.
Every good man is an even better woman, and that saying speaks volumes for you, I tell you.
But yeah, like I say, North Cotswold, Cotswold, Duke of Beaufort. There's about 15 hunts in there, and they're all very local hunts. And it's a fantastic race, and I think it's really good as well. It's the sort of thing that keeps the big connection between hunting and pointing and hunter chasing, and it's a fantastic race to have.
Surprised Max Comley hasn't got a run in this. He loves a hunt race.
Yeah, no, very much so. The problem is, I guess, Brocklesby don't get in here, so
that'd be a bit out of the way.
Going to be very upset about that.
I'll think about this next year.
Poor old Max, he'll never live it down. So the Tom Broughton Fergal O'Brien combination have to be feared in any hunter chase. Both of them having a roaring season. Is that a horse we expect to see at the top of the market, Joe?
I think probably not. I think probably between Jetaway Joey and Yippee-Ki-Yay, I imagine they'd be at the top of the market, maybe Polish is in behind them. But I mean, I'd say, again, if I was going to have an each way bet, it depends what price he is. I will say his name wrong, and I'll admit that now, but Jedwa, I presume, is his name. Of Hugh Edwards and Laura Richardson's. He was very impressive last time out, winning the Lady Dudley. He beat Grace Wenke. I don't want to talk the form down. I don't think Grace Wenke ran probably to the form he has been showing all year around Larkhill. But even so, looks like Brian's rock solid horse there, and he beat him. he's still travelling from to the last very easily, and Hughes just had to get after him at the back of the last. But I mean, he's only a 6-year-old, and he's still on the up, and there's improvements still in him. But it's a good race. Yippee-ki-yay's done nothing wrong all year. Jetaway Joey was impressive at Garthorpe when he beat Rupert Stern's horse, who came out and won what I thought was a very, very good Open the other day at Fakenham, beating IK Brunel and Captain Biggles. I mean, that's rock solid form. So yeah, I'd say between those three, it would probably be a very close race. But again, I'd say Jedwar would be the horse I'd be looking to back if I was there on the evening, sharing a half a shandy with Sam, being nice and quiet as we always are. I'd imagine I'd maybe have my 20p each way on him.
It'd be interesting to see how Jetaway Joey obviously comes out from that race. Obviously, hadn't rang for a while. And then, when it was only 2 runners against Clara Sorrento. Jack just sat behind, didn't he? But that horse, that Clara Sorrento, is no mug whatsoever, and he fairly put him to bed after the last, didn't he? So it'd be interesting.
His form was rock solid last year as well. He beat Cat Royal, and he looked very. Yeah, like he was only 8 last year. I know you look at him and think, oh, he's a reject from under Rougeard, but he was still only 8, and he's 9 now. He's not over raced, and rain wouldn't probably do him any harm. He ran very well at Alnwick. He won at Charm as well last year, didn't it, when it was quite wet? So yeah, he's a very good horse. It's a very good race. I think again another one. It's a hard race to pick the winner of.
What I meant by polish being at the top of the market is that. You can see there is a bit of an opportunity with some of these races in that the casual punter who flicks the telly on a Friday night, or in the betting shops, etc., will just automatically look for trainers that they recognise, and when they see a Fergal trained horse, it's easy to see how it can be a lot shorter than it ought to be at the top of the market. But I definitely agree that it probably doesn't have the biggest chance of winning.
I hope they do go in and back, because it shouldn't be at the top of the market. It won't win, so there you go. But I'm just saying, just making my opinion.
If only it was that easy, Sam.
We'll see.
So the 6:20 at Cheltenham is also at Cheltenham, is the 3 mile, 2.5 furlongs Midlands Air Ambulance Mixed Open Hunter Chase, Class 4 for 5-year-olds plus. The very likeable, perhaps Ludlow specialist Captain Tommy goes here, as we heard from Hugh Edwards, Deesh Rabber, Premier Magic, Quinton's Man, who of course Darren mentioned, Encounter Giant, fairly famous, Lift Me Up, Definite Dilemma, and Ripperoo. Who wants to go first this time? Sam, you?
Okay, I'll have a go.
You can't just copy Joe. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. I'll get him first. I don't go on as much as Joe, hopefully, just because I actually haven't got as much knowledge as Joe, so that's fine. But obviously the obvious one here, kind of Premier Magic, would be great to see him bounce back to any sort of form. Obviously pulling up at Cheltenham, hasn't really had the best of season. From he's won his races, but he hasn't shown the form he was showing beforehand. So if he can bounce back, and if he does bounce back to any sort of form, he should be beating this stock really on what he's done in the past, obviously. But yeah, I quite like the horse of that Jack rides, Lift Me Up. He's a massive horse, probably taking a bit of time to come to hand. What he's beaten so far, I wouldn't be too sure on that. Joe will be able to tell me if the form stands up to anything. But I saw him win at Mollington. Was that his maiden, Joe? When he won at Mollington?
Yeah, that was his maiden. Yeah,
and I thought he just looked like a real raw horse, and a horse that could go on to something. Whether he
literally jumped off the track the whole way around, like out to his left, and
yeah, I just thought he just looked a really, really nice horse. Obviously, he beat. Oh, I'm just looking up his form actually. Kimball Run wasn't too bad.
Rico de Bras, yeah.
So yeah, and he did that. Did he do that easily, Joe?
No. He received a very, very good ride from Jack that day. He was, as they went out into the country after the finish line, running away from there, he was literally looked like he was going nowhere. Jack actually picked a stick up and gave him 2, and then he sort of slowly got into it down the back, and then he probably joined Corito around the last bend. And I thought, would Corito pick up and go and win here? And he probably just outstayed him. It was a very good performance. I think he won by 8 lengths in the end, and it was a very good performance. I couldn't knock it at all. My only thing with him is, I know we sat here just saying how impressive he was at Mollington, but he was winning a maiden that day. He's probably just far too good. Most of his best form seems to be on flatter tracks. Chelsea Corbett, I know that there is a hill on it, but I wouldn't call it a massively undulating track compared to like a Cheltenham. I know he's won around Horse Heath again, but he was 4-1 on, 3-1 on that day. It was a very easy race. His best form is probably at Kimble last time out, probably Newbury last year when James King gave him a fantastic ride to win there that evening. That'd be my only thing with him. He doesn't look the easiest riding world. He hangs pretty violently left-handed, and he did run disappointing. He did run disappointing there last year. But that saying, he pulled up last year. It's kind of too bad to be true.
Real quick, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. But yeah, I don't know. Might be my only worry with him. But rain would probably help. I'd say I've seen him win in wet ground a couple of times. It's fairly wet at Kimble as well, and yeah, rain would help him. But it's a difficult race, isn't it? I mean, is he rode for Rob Varnum the other day, and she was asking Rob if she could ride Ripperoo in the conditions, and he said unfortunately committed Freddie to ride, and he said it will not get beat, and Rob was right, and he absolutely bolted up in Hat Canter. He's very impressive, and Rob is for people that don't know Rob, he is the most enthusiastic point trainer in the country by far. He literally he's absolutely perfect for this game. He's a proper enthusiast. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's had a hard old year. Poor fella. He was very close with Keegan, and that hit him. So if this was going on a blinder for him at a long price and nick a bit of sort of third or fourth, that'd be fantastic for Rob. But yeah, he probably won't want the rain to be the only thing, but he's very impressive last time out, and Rob's horse is running better now than they were start of the year. It'd be great to see him nick a place. I'd love that. So that's more of the feel-good factor than the actual form.
Yeah, definitely, completely agree.
But yeah, looking at it, I'd say again, rain would probably help Premier Magic, and the forecast. I don't know what everyone else's forecast is saying, but I've looked at about 4 different forecasts and got 4 different weather reports.
Yeah.
But it looks like it could be wet, and if it did get wet, I'd say Premier Magic is the form, and probably not the form horse because he obviously didn't run very well last night, but he's the class horse in here, and
already shown that sort of level of form, hasn't he? The horse is fairly famous, where he pulled up behind no mugs, see nominee goes without saying, doesn't it? And Benny's King, so pulled up behind there, and then obviously went on and won again at Charm Park. So getting back on track, and hopefully he might be one for the Cheltenham next year. Quinton's Man, again, was a bit slightly disappointed at Cheltenham, but it was a big ask for him. Only a 7-year-old massive horse again, and then was beat fairly easily in over 4 miles next time out. So
I think Darren said it in the voice note. Fleet was never really going to be his track. I don't know if you've ever been there. It makes Weybridge look like Newbury. It's a proper West Country pointing track. And he never really runs that well around Weybridge. He actually got beaten a bad restricted there at the start of last season and ended up winning the intermediate final and going off favourite for John Corbett. So I'd probably forgive him that run. I mean, there's one bend where you literally turn back on yourself, and as you say, he's a big horse. I can't imagine he would have liked that track at all.
And D Sabo's been running really well all season, hasn't it? Obviously won at Stratford. Could be in the mix.
Yeah, and he's ground versatile. He doesn't really seem to worry about whatever the ground is. So yeah, he's hitting form at the right stage. I think probably Zach will know his fate fairly early because he's looked through. He's had 6 runs for them. He's had 4 wins and 2 pull-ups. So I think he's yes or no, and there's not much in between, is there?
But it just shows how competitive all is, because we actually haven't decided on any race one horse, have we? So
no, exactly, 100%, which is brilliant.
Until the next race, really.
Yeah,
but that's just. Well, I could be wrong. I don't know. What would you know about this? So, go on, Ben. You like to do the introducing, don't you? Come on, introduce this race, please.
Oh, well, we're going on to the next race, Sam. Are you finished, Sam? Or are you finished, chaps?
Yeah, I'm finished. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, come on, if you just pick the winner, please. I was just I zoned out then.
Premier Magic. My money's Premier Magic.
Okay. Sam?
He's got to go fairly famous. He's got to go fairly famous.
I'm going to go with... I'm going to stick each way. Lift Me Up might be a bit of each way price.
I'm going Quinton's Man. Well, we're going to do it at the end, actually. I've just decided. I'm going to step out of this one, but at the end, we're going to go through the card, and you two have got to pick one winner for each race, and we're just going to have a like a £20 match bet, basically. Whoever gets the most points owes the other one 20 quid. So, no, hang on. That doesn't work. Whoever gets the most points wins £20 for the other bet. Right. Okay, Sam, you're right. I do like doing the introductions. It's the only bit I get to contribute to when you two are on. So it is the Cheltenham and South West Racing Club Mares Open Hunter Chase, Class 4, 3 miles, 1.5 furlongs for 5-year-olds plus. Oh, look, this one's at Cheltenham too. And it's on Racing TV.
And you know what? Laura Morgan's got one of this.
Laura Morgan's got another one running. Unbelievable. So, Regatta de Blanc is where I'm starting. Obviously, beaten last time, but so far unblemished other than that. Who wants to take us away on this one?
I'll have a go. Go on. I'm chomping at the bit here.
There we go.
Hey, you loving it, Joe?
It's great to be on the podcast with Regatta de Atkins himself.
Regatta de Atkins.
For anyone that doesn't know, Ben's a big Regatta fan.
He owns his left toenail.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
But no, I tell you what, just very interesting. I'm on the At the Races website because I'm trying to make Ben think I'm intelligent, but I've actually they do a bit of a betting forecast, which is how I've sort of been trying to come up with prices for horses. But I see that she's wearing a first-time tongue tie, so I presume as an owner, you know what the tongue tie is about, then, Ben.
Yeah, can't breathe, mate.
I don't know.
That tends to be the case anyway. Well, I had a quick word with her, and she just said she really likes having her tongue tied down, so we thought we'd put one on.
Brilliant. She's. I think probably Sam and I both agree that if we've just been saying looking through the evening, it's hard to find a winner. But I mean, she's really looks a good thing here. I guess if they get a lot of rain, it probably wouldn't suit her. She's a Scirocco filly out of a King's Theatre mare, and she seems to want nicer ground. But you'd like to think here she's just too good for this lot. It probably isn't as hot a race as it has been in recent years, and she's the clear form pick, and she's been fantastic all year. I mean, we rocked up with Cooler Park start of the year and thought we might beat her and restricted around Arkhill. When looking back on it now, we were pretty stupid for ever thinking we could, but she's been fantastically progressive all season, and she looked maybe like last time out, maybe she wasn't quite at her best, but she's had 42 days now and to get back over it, and it'd be very interesting to see her here. And if she goes and wins here nicely, that's obviously fantastic for you guys. I'd imagine she'd be looking to come back here in what time, really.
Yeah, well, this has definitely been the plan. I've just realised, Sam, that you actually own as much as I do, so I don't know what you're going on about.
Yeah, I do. I don't chant her name with pom poms at the TV. Do you know what I mean?
With the old TPP woolly hat.
He's got a little badge and he's got a stick on his car, mate. He's got a picture of Il Pino and that. Yeah, Ilpino. I joined and Ilpino never saw the track again. Great. Anyway,
this would be the closest I probably get to a winner all night, though, because I did help Ed Bailey buy her and Ilpino, so at least that's my connection to it all. But she was a belter of a filly. She was bought at the Land Rover store sale, and she's down in Barn T. So there we are. I can tell you exactly where she was.
Nicely done. Did you give Ed a piggyback down there? Is that what you mean? All the way down to Barn T.
She's actually picked out by a good friend of mine, James Standen. He was the one that picked her out and got Bailey down there. And Rupert came down and looked at her, and he gave her a pat. And as soon as Rupert gave her a pat, we were fairly sure Rupert was going to be on to buy her.
Nice.
I actually thought about Newbury. I'm just worried about her jumping slightly. I thought Billick carried around that day. And at the time she was low. She's going to have to jump a bit better on Friday to be, especially a tricky track like Cheltenham. I know it's a lot easier race than what she ran in at Newbury. She's going to probably have a bit more time, but I think Billick gave her a very good ride that day to finish second, because I thought her jumping was slightly indifferent at times. For any reason, I don't know why, but hopefully that tongue tie helps her jump better.
I agree as well, and which is funny because you'd say her jumping, especially the second part of the race, at Taunton was a massive help. And normally it has been a massive help to maybe the track just ran off her feet a little bit. And also Dad's a great believer in, with young horses when they're coming through, you all of a sudden you go take on those old handicap chasers and they just jump and gallop and they jump and gallop and they don't slow down for a fence. And she was just being a bit more of a pointer probably, but I'd say it probably sharpened her up a good bit and leave her in good stead.
She went down to the last couple at Ludlow. She, Billy had to help her over there, and then trying to lay up a secret investor around Newbury. That's not going to be easy, is it?
My grade 2 over course.
But no, she's definitely the one there. I thought Bradley Gibbs' horse looked interesting, but it's obviously haven't got the form's not great.
No, she won a Mares Open earlier on in the year, and I saw she was at Jimmy Kelly's yard, and Jimmy is Brad's man who sources all of his horses and buys all of them. The likes of Premier Magic, Fair Jaguar, all of the horses he buys come through Jimmy. So I'd imagine Jimmy's trained her. So how she ended up in Brad's hands, I'm not too sure, but she won a Mares Open and she was second in Hunter Chase the last day. But apart from that, there seems much of a muchness.
Yeah, no. But no, I think she's.
I think we found the banker.
I think we have. Yeah, I think we have. I hope Shellery runs well for the stocks. They're local people, good friends of all of ours, and Harry's. Loves the Wonder Mare. So Zach and Harry have a good shout at it, but they're going to be up against it, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
I'd pick her for my £20 challenge, Joe. By the way, you can't pick her.
No, I don't think you've been listening again, Sam. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, you're off.
Don't worry, Sam. We'll edit that out.
Yeah, no, we won't. Everything
apparently, we're not editing anything tonight.
Yeah.
So the
Morgan's got another one in this as well.
I'm never going to live it down. 7:30 tomorrow night. No, Friday night. Tonight, when you're listening to this, is the 4 miler. Which is the Molson Coors Open Hunter Chase, Class 4, 5-year-olds plus. It's actually 4 miles and 97 yards. I'm tired after running 97 yards, Sam, so fair distance. But Gaborio was my hope for the Aintree Fox Hunters over 2.6, obviously. And is stepping up to 4 miles here. Same pilot on board, Harry Middleton. Unfortunately unseated. I mean, it's easy to say it's a soft unseat, but there's no such thing as a soft unseat over the national fences, is there really?
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I know. I fell off there twice. Only had 3.
Sorry.
So, and there's a lot of depth to this race, isn't there? Again, there's a lot of horses for a start. If they all turn up and all run, you've got the likes of Law of Gold, Gaborio. You can mention any one of these that could have a chance, really. Master Templar is a horse that's haunted me since we passed over him on an opportunity to have him as part of a syndicate with Ollie Murphy, and has turned into quite the weapon. But like Gina said, depends what sort of mood he turns up in. Where do you want to start? Have you got a betting forecast for us, Joe?
Yeah. Laura Gold they've put in his favourite, which obviously makes sense after he won so impressively last year, and then they've got Django in as second favourite, Gaborio, then Pim, and Master Templars, of course, 5th in the betting. So I thought
Gold has been running as well as ever this year.
Yeah, I was very impressed with him beating Fier Jaguin last time out. That you rock up to High Easter, which is a fantastic track, and you go and see Fier Jaguin taking on Laura Gold, and it was a hell of a race to watch. And Brad went a good gallop, as he always does, on Fier Jaguin, and you just see he was never quite getting rid of Laura Gold. And it's probably fair to say that Salmon really came into it in the end, and I'd say that he just outstayed Fier Jaguin. But it was last year's 2 mile winner versus the 4 miler winner. But that was a good race. The rain won't help him, would be the only thing. If there is rain, like I say, could be listening to this and everyone's looking at bright sunshine and it's good ground. But if it does rain, it wouldn't suit him. He's by Gold, well, all his best forms on better ground, and that might be the only thing that doesn't help. Whereas Gaborio is a horse who wanted a 3 mile 2, didn't he, at Catterick in soft ground, and he galloped through the line fairly well that day. Master Templar, any ground for him really seems to, like you said, I don't think ground what he's saying. I think it's more what he wants to do. But he's been in fantastic form this season. He was very impressive last time out when he won, and then he was beaten in a very tactical affair the time before at Brayfield, which Sam and I were actually delighted because we did both back the winner that day. But he's a rock solid horse, and the style of the race should suit him because they tend to come back at you during the second circuit, and he seems to like overtaking horses, and he's a lot easier for Gina to ride now. She can ride him, a lot easier. He always used to she'd either be trying to force it on him, or he was so hit and miss, whereas he looks a lot more straightforward this year. A lot easier to ride, like she said, with the sheep pieces. He should be bang there. One that could run really well, but also could run no race whatsoever is Pim. He won a competitive conditions race. As you probably noticed, Ben, Pim is from the Clare Sheriff Yard. So it would be interesting to see her form this year is 2 from 2, I think. And Bradley's had a good year, but not quite keeping up the 100% strike rate of his better half. But yeah, he's got solid back form. And he's been a very good horse. But with them older horses like him, sometimes they go back there and they just say no thank you. But if he goes there and he wants to do it, he's got all the ability in the world, and he's been a very good horse in his younger days when he's with Nicky Henderson. And it's another very competitive race, and race that'd be hard to pick the winner of. You'd probably be again looking. It says here 12-1 Master Templar. That'd probably be your each way bet. It's probably your better angle is trying to find something at a price.
I've just noticed 2 things. Firstly, that I was talking rubbish a few minutes ago. Turns out we did actually have him in the syndicate for one race, and it was the one that he ran out with Aidan Coleman on. So we did. Yeah, I was getting confused between them. We did actually take Master Templar on. It was just saying here, Millennium Racing Club until 8th of Jan 2022. Just shows how good my memory is. And also, interestingly, his dam is Witch Thistle, which is the dam of This'll Be the One. Which was trained by Tom and Gina and now owned by Kieran Burke, who's gone on to be a very smart bumper horse. He's completely passed me by until this point, which is strange. Interesting.
I remember that. It's funny you say that, because I remember last year when This Will Be the One ran first mount, he ran at Kingston Blank, which is obviously just up the road from us. And it's funny how Master Templar's here running over 4, and This Will Be the One. I just think last year he didn't stay when he ran pointing. He ran.
He's proven it. He's proven he doesn't get a yard over 2 miles, but he's bloody good at 2 miles.
And he's been running over real sharp too as well. Kempton and Ayr on better ground is a sharp too, and he looked all speed. And he last year just didn't seem to be staying over, probably stiff enough 2.5s. It's very funny. It just goes to show, doesn't it? One's all speed, and Master Templar, the 4 miles. I think again that's going to be a massive help to him. He won over 3 miles 6 earlier on in the year.
Yeah.
Let's have your.
Sam's just trying not to laugh.
I'm not sure what to say, to be honest. No, I think Pim Archie Loweth, obviously a very young lad, been doing really well on Pim. Great to be able to give him a ride around Cheltenham. He's only 17, 18. He's only had a handful of rides, but he's been doing a good job on him. As you said already, Master Templar, he won nicely at Cockle, 3 miles 6 round High Easter, I think, was it?
No, he won over 3.6 High Easter last year, but he won at Cockleborough first time out. You were in the tent, Sam.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, it was my birthday, wasn't it? 21st of Jan. We won well around there, and made that look really easy. Horse, as you say, if Gina can just keep taking the pull off him, I think he could just really enjoy it in amongst a big field. Might not even know he's having a race. He's one that could come in if he was 12-1. I doubt he'd be 12-1 at the off, though, will he? So he'd be a lot shorter than that, especially after everyone's listened to this podcast.
If we've got anything to do with it, Sam, we'll be there, won't we? Up and down the lines, we will.
Yeah, of course.
Have you got your wheelbarrow out the shed?
No, not yet, mate. It's still in there. It's getting mouldy. Laura Gold, and Gaborio, for me, I think, the 2 class horses in the race. I think Victoria Collins, Django won well at the beginning of the season, has kind of gone off the board slightly. I actually fitted a saddle to Django the other day. Sarah, he's going to have a really bad back now for this. Hopefully he's okay. I think another trappy race. Obviously, Keogh's got another one in here. The horses always run well, as you were saying before. Joey's, every season, when he has 5 or 6 horses, he always seems to bang in winners, doesn't he? He has done for years since I was when we were even riding.
He must have been good because Johnny Bailey rode a few winners for him.
I know, yeah.
Good old Johnny. He's not had a mention on this podcast for a few weeks. Good old Johnny.
Yeah. Have you spoke to him recently?
No.
No, I haven't actually. I should give him a ring, checking on him.
It's like 7. It'll go like 7 months, and then he'll phone me at like 11:10 at night. Oh, mate.
On a Sunday normally. I think he likes a Sunday afternoon beverage.
Oh, I see. It's related to
the only one. Yeah.
It's related to the Budweiser.
It's fine. We can say about this because he doesn't listen to it anyway.
No, he never will. He'll never hear this.
Anyway, back to the racing. Yeah, Law Gold for me. I think he's been running really well, better than he has been the last few seasons leading up to this, and he still won it last year. I think he's the horse to beat. Yeah.
Okay, and let's move on to the final race on the card, where Go On Shay is Alan Hill's nap, and it's hard to say I disagree.
Go on, Joe.
Another fantastic ride for Harry Middleton. The Middleton family actually have horses with us, and Harry's ridden 5 or 6 winners for us. He's a pupil assistant now at Josh and Ollie's yard, and as Dad said in his voice note, that their horses are flying at the minute. And Dad and I actually looked his form up before he ran at Ludlow, and we worked out the last time he'd ran right-handed was at Tabley when he won a maiden and he beat Sean Nimine. So that form had worked out all right. So we thought he'd probably be all right around Ludlow the other day, and that he was. He was very impressive. He would be another one though. Rain wouldn't be a hand for him. He most of his form is on better ground, and I thought they've been waiting for the ground for him. Harry told me a month ago that he was flying and they wanted to run him, but the ground just hadn't come for him. But yeah, I think he was very impressive last week, and he'd probably be the one in this. The other horse I thought could run well would be another David Kemp horse, Rebel Dawn Rising. I thought he'd run a fantastic race in the Aintree Fox Hunters, and he was a little bit disappointing if we're being honest. But David and Dale at the minute, like, they're having the most unbelievable season. They just keep firing out winner after winner after winner. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this lad. Again, he'd be one. If it does rain, I'd be massively on side with him. I'd say if it doesn't rain, Go On Shares. If it does rain, Rebel Dawn Rising. Those would be my picks in this race.
Yeah. I'd agree. Yeah, Rebel Dawn Rising is a classy horse. He travelled nicely into the race at Aintree. I think he just didn't really see it out, did he? Whether I don't really know why. To be honest, I can't give you that answer, Joe. But
he's a bit of a quirky horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he was always been fun. He used to hang a bit. He used to jump one way or another. He's not been the easiest, I don't think, but he's got loads of ability, isn't he? I think.
Funny, isn't it? How there's certain horses that you just never. There's certain horses that I just can't bring myself to get on board with, and they've done absolutely nothing wrong. There's just something that just, for whatever reason, you just don't fancy and never can.
Is that you saying that Rebel Dawn Rising's got no chance then?
No, not at all. I think, and I actually agree with you. It's ground dependent between those two. I just certain horses that you either latch onto for unrelated reasons and get really wound up and excited about. Regatta de Blanc, say. In fact, mine in this race would be Sleevegar, because big fan of Toby, as I've said many times, and he trains one in here. It's not. I like that angle. I just like. It feels proper pointing when you've kind of got an owner, rider, trainer situation, and it'd be a good example of one of those. Same with Amber Jackson Fennell's horse in this race, Cooldown Bog.
I back Sleevegar at higher, but I'm not backing it again.
No, I knew you'd say that. Yeah,
but I am a big Toby McKay Mitchell fan as well. What about Joe? Would you give Solomon Gray a chance if it didn't rain?
Yeah, I guess you'd have to, wouldn't you? You won the race, didn't he, 2 years ago, with Darren on board. Yeah, he'd have to. I don't know whether he's probably been performing to the same level of form. My knowledge on his form this season probably isn't as good as it should be. But I thought he probably was in better form when he came into this race a couple of years ago. And I'm just, again, like I said, rain probably wouldn't help him. But he ran a blind in the race again last year, didn't he? So he's always bang there, and you couldn't really knock him, could you?
He was beat by D Sabat around Stratford the last day, beating Precious Bounty 15 lengths, 7 lengths. So it's not bad for him really, and I think he wants really fast ground. So
yeah,
faster ground, the better for him. But he wouldn't be without an each way chance in that, I don't think.
No.
Okay, right, guys, you've got 30 seconds to gather yourself before I go back through the card from the first race to the last. And no ifs, buts, maybes, you have to select one horse. I know it doesn't work like that in practice. Everyone's heard your convoluted answers as to why certain horses may or may not win. We want one winner from each race. And as I say, whoever wins gets £20. So
20 whole pounds.
20 whole pounds, Sam. Yeah. And you're going to have it in coins. So, right, let's start with the 4:35. I'm not going to give them answers. I'm just going to give the times to save everyone from that again. So the 4:35, Joe goes first.
I'm gonna go Carita. I'm gonna go for a switch up from last year. Carita Brosses.
Sam?
A jet of our own.
The 5:10. Sam, a bit like penalties. Yours is just lost, so you get to go first.
Wolf Walker.
I'm gonna go boring. Iskander.
Controversial. 5:45, Joe.
This isn't fair. He goes first on all the ones I want to pick, and he's going to pick the ones I want to pick.
I'm not because I won't. I'll go. Well, I'm going to go Jedwa. So I don't know who you're going to go for.
All right, Jetaway Joey.
I thought you would.
You are able to pick the same horses as well. That I should have specified that rule. 6:20, Sam.
6:20. Lift me up.
Joe.
Not Precious Bounds. What about Premier Magic? Saw the P used.
Yeah, easily done. 6:55, Joe.
Regatta to Atkins.
Times 2.
Oh, it's a certainty. 7:30.
You, Sam, isn't it?
Yeah, me. Oh, this is a nasty race. This one, Law of Gold. How boring.
I was just going. I'll mix it. I'll go Master Templar. I've given him a good enough shout. Yeah, I'll go Master Templar.
And finally, the 8:05. Who would like to go first?
Going to win it for me, Solomon Gray.
He is keen. You are keen on him, aren't you? You're going to forgive him his 7-4 on defeat at Larkhill, 2 runs back in a level 2 conditions.
Don't worry about that, mate.
He's just trying to get some more saddle footing business, Joe.
Did you fit his saddle? Is that why?
No. I wouldn't back him. I'm not backing Django because he'll have a bad back.
I'm going to go. Well, I got off on a dad bank of the evening. Go on, Ches.
Yeah, fairly.
One like a good thing the other day. I agree that is the bank of the evening. So, my little lucky 15 then, Sam, little bonus for those that are still listening 400 hours after the podcast started would be a lucky 15. Go on Shay, Regatta de Blanc. Wait for it. It's coming. I just can't find it. Quick. I've lost it. I'm going to have to do this bit again. I don't think I've got 4 horses. That's going to be a downside to a lucky 15, isn't it?
They're not great, mate.
There's the third that I thought was nearly nailed on. We'll do a Trixie. Regatta just wins, doesn't she? Go on, Shez just wins.
Quite finished, or?
Calm down.
You have a nice day, Joe?
No, but I had a dreadful day. 2 lame ones.
Oh, good. Andy. What again? Can you give out while we're waiting for Ben to figure out how he counts to 15? Any horses our listeners should look out for the weekend?
Yeah, we've got a couple of horses running this weekend. Well, yeah, a good few running actually this weekend.
Are you meeting yet though? So how do you know?
We haven't. Well, I can't have the meeting. We had to fast forward the meeting early this week because tomorrow night I'm out for dinner for Greg's pre wedding dinner. So we had to fast forward it earlier on in the week. We actually had it last night because I knew I was busy tonight. So yes, we're sending a few down to Godstone. We've got a nice 5-year-old that won a maiden last mount. He runs in the restricted Soldier Unknown. Got a couple of 4-year-olds running first mount of maiden and a bumper horse. And then we've got a really nice young horse on Monday running at Eighton in the maiden. He's called By George. He's an Order of St George. He runs in my name. He's owned by a great group of lads, and we're very much looking forward to running him. He's schooled very nicely around Brayfield, upsides Nick Pearce's horse that won the maiden at Kimball. So yeah, he's a lovely horse. We like him a lot. He's a massive raw horse. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did get beat, because he's just a big baby and he's still very raw, but he's going to be a beautiful horse in time. And the sire is absolutely on fire at the minute. He's been firing out Irish pointing winners left, right and centre. So no, he'd be one we're very much looking forward to. But yeah, busy weekend, and keep trying to roll on and give Izzy as many winners as possible. That's the plan at the minute.
Good. Ben, you found your 4 horses you're backing yet or not?
Anyway, we're going to conclude this episode. You can just skip to this part, and we'll time code it and put it up on Twitter. You can just skip to this part. Forget everything else the lads have said. Regatta de Blanc, go on Shay, short price double, nap.
You didn't even find the other 2 horses.
No, that's it. I've decided there's only 2 bankers, and that's them. So stick them in an odds-on double and call it a job. Anyway, Joe, that was very insightful. We've been really, me and Sam have been saying for a long time, we're just scared to get Joe Hill on because he knows so much more than both of us. He's just going to show us up. So, thanks for coming on, pal.
No, it's been a pleasure. No, thoroughly enjoyable. And you've had Dan, you've had his on, so you've had to lumber me now as well.
That's it. 3rd time lucky. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you all again this time in 2 weeks. Good night.
Good night.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
You're listening to Pointing Pointers, the Point to Point podcast.